response training and continuing the series on everyday carry to include this video on the perfect everyday carry weapon light. No surprise, in my opinion, it's the Streamlight TLR7. I think it's the A. I don't really know what makes the A different than, I think they're all A's, but first things first, you do not need a weapon mounted light for EDC. This is a nice to have, not a need to have. What you do need to have is some kind of handheld light. We can't point guns at everything we can point a light at. We gotta have a handheld. This is a supplement to a handheld, not a replacement for one. This is not gonna help you a lot if you don't have training. This fills very niche roles such as home defense or positive identification of threats that you're just not, you'll never use the weapon light unless you have training. So I just want to make that caveat. You don't need it. And if you're like, do I need it? And you don't know, then no, you don't. If you've trained a bunch and you're like, I'd be interested in seeing what this gives me, then that would definitely be something worth looking into. So firstly, we want to talk about reliability, durability. This light has been used a ton, live fire training, force and force training, and then in real life as well. This particular, I actually had a sample size of 2. I had another one before this one. And in addition, this used to be, actually it still is one of the issued lights at my old police department. So I had a sample size of like, I don't know, 700 people I knew. I'd never seen them broken. I'm sure there was some broken ones at that department, but I had never heard of one. I'd never seen one. So I'm very, very happy with the reliability, durability. Probably Surefire's still king when it comes to that. They just don't make that size light, which brings us to size. This is, when I added this, I used to carry without a light. When I added this, I felt not maybe a 5% difference, not a noticeable difference. It's very, very easy to carry, very comfortable to carry. I've tried carrying something like this, which is a TLR1 in a Filster floodlight, and it's a good holster. It is just, I gave it like 8 months. I tried to give it a really, really good test, and I could not do it. I was not going to carry it. It was just really uncomfortable. Some people can carry full-size lights. If that's you, awesome, because it's obviously the bigger the light, the more you're going to get out of it. But I couldn't do that. This is the right size. It's flush fit with the Glock 19. In my opinion, it's about perfect. So that brings us to output. Obviously, compared to this Streamlight TLR1, it is not going to be as much light. It's not going to throw the light as far. It's not going to make as wide of a spill because it's just got less power behind it. However, in my experience, it has given me just enough. So again, I didn't want to give up anything. I only want this to add, because if I'm giving up something, I'll go carry a big light. I only want this to add capability. And this has, I don't know, 500 lumens or something. But it has given me enough to overcome some photonic barriers. So photonic barriers meaning things that light has a problem penetrating. So an example for that can be window tint, or let's say we need to defeat another light source. Like there's a bad guy in a dark alley but there's a street light between him and I. I need my light to push through that street light to reach into that dark alley. Or if there's lights pointed at me and I need to overcome those lights with my light, think maybe car headlights or something like that. So this has been useful. Now, it is not, I'm not saying it's going to totally overpower a stronger light. It has enough punch where I can still get the visual information I need that I'm looking for, which is why I'm pointing a light at it. So I think it's got enough light. And then finally, the switches. I think the switches are really good on this light. I don't love them. I honestly haven't found a light that I do love the switches on. So the reason I like these, they're very, very simple. Click is for constant on, press and hold is for momentary, and it's the same on both sides. That's in contrast to something like this Streamlight TLR1, where down on one side is constant, down on the other side is momentary. So I think these switches are really good. The Surefire X300 switches, at least they are consistent. However, I don't find them, I find these a lot easier to use, especially under stress. And I have proved it with some training in real life use. So that's why I think this is the perfect EDC weapon light. You don't need one. If you want to have one, I consider this until, something better comes out. Anyway, this is Reed with Rapid Response Training. Carry your stuff. Don't be weird.